Hello, hello. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon. It's in the afternoon actually, maybe afternoon, maybe evening. It's about 4 p.m. I believe. Yes, actually it's 5 p.m. So time is going right fast. It's Friday, Friday, March 13, and today marks the last day of spring. Then we're starting then the it marks the last day of winter. This is the last day of the spring break. Then we're kicking off winter, or we're kicking off spring in next fall. What am I saying? Kicking off spring in next week on Monday. That means we're gonna start the spring season, and it's gonna end around July or June. So that being said, I just want to give an update for the whole week. It's been a spring break. I did not do much. I stayed home because I have to do a lot of quantitative stuff. The last thing I need to work on as I speak is the two classes. One is the public finance, which I haven't worked on. I tried to put the data from the farmers, the river rocks, the rivers and the logs and the quality of those logs, then the fuel, the price of fuel. I want to see if the fuel influences the grain prices, and then I wanted to see if there are the other things that could have influences, things like what is it, the weather changes can influence the prices as well. So that what I've been doing. I think I found the data. It's screened. It's good for separately, each individually. They're all good. When I try to combine them, however, I ran into the problem where they were not matching. I'm using R to do this type of work, and it's not matching. So I had that problem, and I just paused it. I was really tired. This is like the day before yesterday. I was extremely tired. Then yesterday I worked on big data class, which it was a midterm. I went. I did. I was able to finish everything from question 1 to 2 to 3. I don't know if it's perfect, but whatever it is good. I can, if I have to do anything, I have to change something, maybe change some ways of doing it, maybe review some tasks, review some requirements. But other than that, the code is ready, it's running, it's functioning. The data is cleaned, all the three types of data. One was for housing, another one was for the mortgages, the other one was credit cards. Okay, so it's all good, it's all running, but I haven't yet submitted it because I need to wait. I have 2 more weeks to get it done. So that is something I did. The second thing I need to work on is public finance. No. I just mentioned public finance. The other thing I need to work on is international trade. International trade, which is going to be about the tariffs and how tariffs affected the pharmaceutical products. All right, that's the data I want to work on, and it's very difficult for the data. But I'm thinking about, instead of waiting to one day whenever I'm ready, I'm just gonna go ahead and do it. I realized that if I'm spending time watching a TV, or I'm spending time like reviewing jobs or talking to somebody on the phone, that time that I'm spending, I could be spending it coding, writing a code. So it takes like 3 seconds to write the code. All I have to do is go on Google and search the libraries for this type of data, whatever data I'm looking for. If it's agriculture, if it's FDA data, then put the data, run it in the code. If it doesn't work, and it doesn't work, then I have to like go ahead and search for another data, or try to fix it. Or if you need, like for instance, when I was putting the data from agricultural product I ran into a problem where I needed an access key, security key. So when that problem happens, I can send an email to the government and say, hey, they live here in Washington D.C. So I can be like, hey, I'm a student at Catholic University. I need access to the data. Can you help me out? Then they usually respond. So that's what I need to do. The weather was very nice today. So as you can see, it's very sunny. So this is like mid 70s. I haven't gone out, but I can feel it. Okay, I can feel it's very nice. Yesterday was snowing. Today is sunny, so it's positive. I don't think we'll have no more snow the whole month, hopefully, and also hopefully it won't be too cold. I'm starting to get sick because when it's spring, trees start to release some pollens. Those pollens make me sick. Okay, they stuck on my nose. Then I sneeze a lot, so that sneezing eventually develops into getting sick. Sometimes these houses, vehicles, clothes, shoes, when it's winter, they hold that water in there, right? And when it starts getting cold, that water turns into molds. It becomes molds, all right? So I'm not an expert to like track all the molds, whatever there is, people's houses I go to, the shoes, the car, the entire house. So I cannot like clean the hot molds. I'm not that sensitive. I don't have that kind of like OCD. But I do sense it. If there's molds around, if it's too small, I'll sneeze. All right. So I have to go through this from March until April. Usually in May it goes down, but it does affect me in April, especially when there's flowers in DC. Those flowers are not good for me. But so I cannot smell, I cannot sense anything, I cannot taste. Right. So that being said, hopefully I'll be okay. Hopefully I will be okay. I might getting the email from the school for the parking situation. So I'm drinking apple juice. This is not alcohol. This is apple juice. So it's been fun. Today I didn't do anything. So what I did was finish the task that I started a couple days ago, which was to have the list of all top companies in the United States. Okay, so last time I made a video, it was at night. I spent the whole night doing it, and today I was able to come to finish the whole list. So I want to make a video. I'm gonna show here what I'm talking about. So this is the list of companies that I wrote down. So you have Century, Amazon, Apple, AstraZeneca, Becherte, Sassi, Capital One, CGI, GE, Space, Coca-Cola, Dell Technology, Deloitte, DC, United, EY. So these companies, I got these companies from a university's websites. Okay, so for instance, if I click the company like I don't know, pick any company here. So let's say Booz Allen. Booz Allen is like a defense company here in DC. So if I click on that one like this, click on their link. The link will open up in a new browser. Then the link will have an automatic search keyword that says economics here. Geez, my thing is not, it's blurry. That's fascinating. So it says economics here. Then it shows the jobs for economics here. So strategist analyst, project analyst, ground and business policy, data. I mean, these are like very high level jobs. But if I click on the cost analyst, which is in San Diego, California, if I click on it, and I go down here, on the bottom it says that one of the requirements, you have to have 2 years of experience in the cost or financial estimation analyst, right? Then you have to have like use Excel. Obviously you have to have secret clearance, which is like this is a defense company, right? Just as an example, but I'm gonna use another company here that I can pull up. So let's say if I go to Bank of America, yeah, this is Bank of America. It's a bank. So there is a keyword economics already, so I don't have to type in economics. Then immediately it pulls out jobs that are open, right? Business banking relationship manager, Charlotte. Like they don't have like business economics, but this is like cost economics. If I go to another bank, I'm gonna prep another bank here. No, not a bank, but think of a company I can think of here. There are so many. Each and one of these companies, they always hire economists. So let's say JP Morgan, right? JP Morgan Chase. If I pull that up, obviously it takes time searching. So you say it has economics, it has location, the Washington DC, and here it has economic analyst associate, senior associate, or economists. So if I click on it, so let's say this one, JP Morgan Chase Institute Research Associate. So if I click on it and I go down, you can see they have all the required bachelor's degrees in economics. They want you to have programming language, which is Python, Stata, R, Scala, right? And so this is the list of companies that I'm gonna have to keep. Now, why did I make this list of companies? Well, first of all, when the federal government laid off people, I noticed something. These people, they don't know where to apply. These people have skills, they have good degrees, sometimes they have engineering degrees, sometimes they have economic degrees, that they are really smart, but they don't know like where to apply. Like they don't know which, they've been in the government for so long, their whole life has always been working in the government. They worked in like diplomats or some kind of other jobs. Then they got laid off. They actually have no idea which private company is hiring. That is a concerning, right? So they have to search, they have to look it up, they have to go to Indeed and look it up and search, which is a good idea. No, nothing wrong with it. But if you've never been exposed before, right? You have to. Also, you don't know if the job you're applying for is either gone or if it's still posted, right? So having a list of companies, this list only takes me to like very specialty senior jobs, right? This is not. So I'm not doing this just for me to work for them right now. If they give me a job as an intern, great. But the point I'm making here is that in the next 5 or 10 years, if I have an experience in a specific field, right, if I want to get a job, I don't have to struggle. These companies are going to be here for the long time. These are big corporations. I don't have to struggle to search. I can just go in my list, click on a link, and it takes me automatically to the exact job post. Then go to LinkedIn and say, hey, this is James, we know each other for a long time on LinkedIn. Can you give me a referral, for a job? Okay, so no more guessing, no more looking around, right? So I think this was good. I think this is a positive thing, and I'm trying to keep this list for a long time. And if I have time, I'm gonna be just adding more and more and more. Even though there's so many, like I can count them, probably like more than 100 jobs. Like there are a lot of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 29. I can count. They are all totaling like 50 plus companies. Okay, I don't know if I mentioned this, but I also have non-profits here. So I do have. I don't know. It's not visible. So I do have non-profits. So the middle line is for non-profit, is for government. So like the city, the county, the city of Baltimore, Fairfax County, Loudoun County. These are schools, and the county, the government, U.S. Department of Energy, USDHS, U.S. Department of State, GSA, WMT, Washington Metropolitan Transportation Area. Then they have NGOs on the left side, right side, which is Red Cross, IMF, National Alliance on Mental Illness, Public Broadcast, PBS, World Bank. Because I'm not gonna work for non-profit, I don't want to work for non-profit or any of the NGOs except World Bank. I didn't focus much on that, right? So whenever, like yesterday, I clicked on the JP Morgan, right? So I'm gonna show you here. I clicked on the JP Morgan, so right on the bottom, right? This was yesterday. So JP Morgan, clicked on it, right? And then you can see they have a job opening right here. Okay, so what I did, this was opening like 2 days ago, so it's brand new. So what I did, I sent an email, or not an email, but a message to somebody on LinkedIn whom I know. That person is in Texas. They haven't responded yet. I don't think so. I haven't checked my LinkedIn since this morning. But I sent them an email, a message, and they say, "Hey, I found this law on JP Morgan. Can you tell me about it? Can you tell me if they accept the referral?" So if I get a response, they might say, "Hey, this is maybe they didn't say they didn't mention in the job post. They even tell the date. The job was posted at 1 on March 9, 2026 at 1:50 p.m. So it tells you the date. It's very rare to find this kind of information because this job will not hit the LinkedIn and Indeed and other software until like 2 days later, right? So I sent an LinkedIn message to somebody on LinkedIn, and I hope they're gonna respond with yes, the job is good, is available, or it's not. Or I don't know somebody who works in the Washington DC in this department, blah blah blah, whatever that is, right? But this gives me a peace of mind. It gives me the map of how search for a job. Okay, but here's the best important thing that I'm thinking about it. It's the investments. Okay, if I get a job, I'm gonna have to be dedicating at least some money to investments, stocks, right, shares, these companies. So I don't have to second guess whom to invest in. This is gonna be the list I have. This is gonna be my list on my computer. All right, this is going to be my references. I wanna go back and say, you know what? 3 years ago, 4 years ago, I wanted to invest in JP Morgan. Here's the company, right? 2 years ago, I wanted to work for BlackRock. I have them in the system, right? So that's gonna help out. Another thing is that is friends, right? If I know somebody who's doing economics and they're looking for a job, and they say, you know, I'm looking for a job. If there's something, let me know. For a startup, for somebody who's starting, like fresh, like me, I'm fresh, it's harder. But for somebody who's already, you know, experienced, he's a professional. Let's say federal workers, they lost their job, looking for a job. They see you as an economist, they trust you. They be like, hey, do you have any job openings? In my mind, I can think of this list. I can say, you know what, send me a resume. I'm gonna look it up and see. Okay, then I can go check my list and say, I found this job is opening at this company, at this company, at this company, at this company. economists can work anywhere. Okay, like for instance, right now, if I have to put up NVIDIA, like this is NVIDIA. So there is NVIDIA. Where's the NVIDIA? It's somewhere here. NVIDIA. Like NVIDIA right here. They have jobs opening for economists. I don't know if my camera is recording properly. Right, so you see the economists here. It's typed in. Senior analyst transfer pricing, right? That's the economist job. Manager financial planning and analyst, budget overhead team. This is financial. This is in Israel, so this is in the United States. But no, data center. They also had other jobs for economists, which were like it's called what's the name of it? It's called crowd computing. Okay, crowd computing economists. So like Amazon, for example, your job is to analyze the crowd computing for Amazon, right, as an economist. So those are the things that economists work in every field, right? It's the best field you can ever be in. It's the same tools, same intuitions, everything. Excuse me, everything is just a minor. No, you can be a financial analyst, but when you have an economic background, you can work as a senior economist for accounting. If you are an economist and you learn financial analyst, you can do financial analyst as an economist. If you're an economist and do the engineering, you can do engineering as an economist. So there's so many fields for economic field. It's the best thing. The only challenge is that sometimes they want to have a PhD. Companies like OpenAI, they require a PhD. I think that's very high. Is it OpenAI? No, I'm lying. That's not true. OpenAI does not ask for a PhD. But I found another company, I think it's called Intuitive, whatever, like a Beaver. It was a company in Silicon Valley that requires a PhD. This is a quantitative analyst, wants to have a PhD. What other companies I found that ask a PhD? Amazon wants to have a PhD to work as an economist for their company. So, but very few companies do. So that being said, that's what I did for today. Other than that, I'm just chilling at home. The Friday is just for me to have time to relax and get ready, and hopefully I'm gonna get a response from World Bank to see if I'm gonna get an internship. At this point, I think there's no chance because the internship I applied for, which I think I qualified for, starts in April, and the April is coming close already. So if they have to choose, even if they choose me, it will take so much longer to start in April. They only had two jobs for internships in Washington DC. The rest were in other countries, or the rest were just more like towards like other stuff, which I'm not interested in, like studying middle income countries or low income countries, like other things that requires a different type of specialties. That being said, I do not have any updates on the news. I know the war in Iran is becoming like a forgotten, like it's becoming like history. US is, I think, is in the process of maybe withdrawing. I'm not too sure. I could be wrong, but this war is creating a problem on oil market. Now US is sort of partnering with Russia to open up the oil supply for the West, because the Iranian military, they have crossed the Strait of Hormuz, which is where many of the oil ships pass through, and as they supply oil across the whole entire economic powerhouse, because the biggest economic powerhouse in the whole world is the US and China. Okay, China are the largest producer of all the goods, and they're the most consumer in the whole world. There's so many economic activities happening between China and the United States. Then from China, goods are taken up in Saudi Arabia, Middle East, and sometimes in Europe. Okay, so when the war breaks the area, then there's going to be really hard to supply things. Okay, Asian countries are struggling with oil crisis right now. So Russia is becoming the more of a supportive. Now, I don't think Russia likes Iran. No country likes Iran, actually, from what I've seen, because we see previously when US was. Let me see how much do I have. I have 19 minutes. We see previously when US and Europe were attacking Russia because of the Ukrainian war. We see people reacting. We see African countries reacting. We see Asian countries reacting. But for now, nobody's reacting. Everybody's like minding their own business. That's because Iran was really getting out of control. And this is not like Russia does not oppress its own people. It's oppressing the Ukrainians. It supports Ukrainian separatists who are trying to take over Ukraine. That's different from Iran that is oppressing some people, right? And then it's trying to impose Islamic beliefs to the whole world. That being said, I want to end this video with some comments that I see the government of the US makes, especially like the leaders, creating Islamic hate. The Islamic hate is getting really, really big in the US and in Africa, and this is because of the labor groups that are being, that were supported by Iran. You have Boko Haram in Nigeria, you have Al-Shabaab in Somalia, you have ISIS in Middle East. You have the Houthis, you have these groups in Palestine, Hamas, and many others, Hezbollah, right? These groups they are supported by Iran, and we know this because they just trying to expand Islamic beliefs, which nothing wrong with that, but then they do a lot of tragic things, kill people, commit crimes, attack communities, attack homes, bomb randomly places. Like, it's insane. It's not the best way to solve problems. But they are known as extremists, right? US does have extremist religious believers, Christians mostly, but they don't go bombing things, people's places. Like, Christians don't bomb other Christians' churches. These Islam extremists, they even bomb mosques, their own mosque. That's the scariest part. Like, if somebody can bomb their own synagogue, their own community, their own people, kidnap their own children, that person should not be trusted, right? So there's this growing anti-Muslim sentiment that's going around, and it's because of countries like Iran that does not call out this behavior and stop it. So, but hopefully things will work out. Hopefully the Middle East will have peace and get to be a place where we can, all of us, go out there and enjoy. And I think if Iran can accept to be a religious country, to accept everybody, be accommodating, I think this will send a message to other countries, including Africa, like Nigeria. It's very sad Nigeria is so big, but you cannot go to northern Nigeria. Like you have Nigerians stuck and concentrating in one area in Lagos, Abuja, right? Those areas, they cannot go to another state, okay, any other northern area, because they're afraid they'll be killed. That shouldn't be a thing. That should not exist in any country. Okay, people in any country should have the right to go whenever they want to go to. Okay, this is the privilege I enjoy as a Ugandan, or people from Burundi or Rwanda enjoy. Right, people from Tanzania enjoy. They can go anywhere they want to go in a country. Americans, they enjoy that. They can go anywhere they want to go to in a country. But countries like Iran has created this division among even themselves. Like Iran does not accept other religious leaders. They have religious persecutions for other beliefs: Christians, Baha'i faith, Buddhism. Nothing else is acceptable in Iran, which is brutal, which is bad. So that being said, it's a very large country. It's very difficult. They have one of the difficult terrains to navigate. That's why US has been struggling to do there. But also, as I end this video, I don't know how many minutes I have. I have 15 minutes, 40 minutes. Also, this becomes a lesson to the US military, right? It becomes something that US has always, in my opinion, has wanted to learn, right? There's a difference between fighting on the ground or fighting heavy militarized groups like like the Japanese and the Chinese. But US didn't know that they can be beaten by small aircraft, small drones, tiny drones. So, and also fighting in these mountainous and terrains and difficult areas, and you're fighting with the people who don't have very heavy weapons. It's a lesson that America needs to learn. It's a lesson that US needs to learn. Every time US sends one bomb, one nuclear bomb, or not a nuclear bomb, how do you call it, rockets. We don't use nuclear bombs. It's not allowed. But one rocket costs like billions of dollars. Right? Like I saw the budget last time, like the US has spent, the first 2 days, US spent $3.1 billion, just one single attack on Iran. So that's a lot of money. Meanwhile, Iran sends like very simple, small drones which can harm people, but also easy to destroy. But because there are so many and they're easy to manufacture in a large scale, it become a problem. Okay. So as the US, these drones are very simple to make. Like Tesla can make like 250 million of them in like in 1 year. They're pretty small. They're pretty simple. Yet for years, US has been investing in like very strategic military equipment, right? Like from B-2 bombers and F-35, like training the armies to be very, very strong, very, very sophisticated armies, and paying so much money to end up dealing with very simple drones and dealing with very simple soldiers. It goes to tell you that you should not, when you move up, when you succeed, don't forget the bottom level, don't forget the smaller stuff. So even though US destroyed Germany, they want to fight in Vietnam, they fought in Korea, they have fought in Afghanistan, in Somalia. You need to understand that they should not abandon this small technology. It's needed. it goes to also to say to the AI as well. AI, as it's growing really fast, um, people, companies need to know that there will always going to be these smaller skills, communication skills, critical thinking skills, right? We can write a bunch of codes. We can have AI do all this stuff, but if we don't have this simple technology, you know, kept somewhere, not necessarily abandoned, it's gonna help. It's gonna help these companies if they are struggling one day, whether it's the but like right now we don't know. There could be like a cyber. If there was like a cyber attack on the ChatGPT, or and a cyber attack on I don't know, like Anthropic, right? I know many companies will shut down, including the U.S. Army will also struggle because they are now having contracts with the Anthropic, even though there has been a conflict going on. But right, we know when AWS shuts down, we get calls from students. They be like, oh, you know, we cannot submit assignments because the system is down. But because every single organization in the US, schools, counties, states, federal government, they use AWS cloud computing. So lack of alternatives is the key issue that needs to be solved, right? And that's something that I think US is learning right now. They should have learned a long time ago. They lost the war in Vietnam, beaten by people who are very simple, small, poor people, right? So that being said, the hope is that the war gets to end, Iran gets to settle, they get to choose a new leader, they get to have peace. Some Iranians who fled the country in 1979 to the US and around the world, they get to return back to their homes, see their families, right? Maybe live there. There are many Iranians here. They are very successful. They are very smart. They get to go out and see their homes. All right, that's all for today, and thanks for watching. Let me see how many minutes do I have. I actually have 10 more minutes. So let me check some news to see. I like apple juice. On some news, looks like the airport. Looks like the airport is grounded. Many in the DMV area, the airports have been many airlines have been grounded because of the issues going on. It's not a safety problem. We are okay. Or there were some rumors that Iran might attack California. Okay, this was a warning from the U.S. Department, from the FBI, that Iran might attack California, send some drones. Now it's really too far. Like, it's really far for Iran to send any military or any drone attack to the US. Do you know how far that place is? Like, this is like way up south, southern hemisphere. We're in northern hemisphere. All right. They could have done it. They could actually have done it if Maduro was still a president. This is what makes Trump really a smart guy. What he did was really smart. If Maduro was still a president, US would have a very hard time. Okay. If US didn't have tariffs against China, US would have very hard time. But tariffs, even though they are bad for the US, for the American people, they are still very effective in this war, because China is like muted. They can't say anything. Because There's going to be a meeting coming up soon between China's president Xi Jinping with the U.S. president. Xi Jinping has been in the U.S. so many times. He was in the U.S. back in 1980s. He came to the U.S. back in 2006, I believe. Then 2008. Then he came to the U.S. in 2012 before he became a president. He was a vice president and he became a president. Then he has came, I believe, twice in the U.S. since he became a president. So Xi Jinping has a good idea and he has a good relationship with the U.S. And his daughter went to school here in Harvard. So that being said, if China was having access to the U.S. market like they used to back before the tariffs came, this war would have been brutal on the U.S. soil. But now every country is muted because countries are struggling with inflation, they are struggling with tariffs, right? So they are dealing with that fast. And then you have oil crisis, which is also coming up. So these countries are not they're not interested in fixing the war. They're interested in can we stop it and reduce the prices, because they know, especially countries that are having the same issues as Iran, right? Issues like people overstaying in power, issues like like corruptions, right? Lack of developments, operations, right? They know that when the prices goes up in their country, they are gonna protest, they're gonna fight. Americans are gonna be okay, even though they will struggle. They still have economic power, they still have control, right? So the fear in many countries right now is that once the prices goes up, they're gonna protest. That's what happened actually in Iran. In Iran, because of the sanctions, heavy sanctions, the prices in Iran skyrocketed. Inflation went way up. People started protesting. In response, Iran would say it's not our problem, it's the Americans' problem and the Israelis' problem. Okay, even though it sounds like a good idea to blame another country, you should be able to have a solution as a leader to say, you know what, let's fix the problem. Let's find out why you have the sanctions. What's the problem? Can we fix it? All right, instead of like pointing a finger to another person. So this is what has led Trump to respond, and he's been wanting to do that for a long time, but he didn't want to do it. But I think that this was the moment for him to get ahead and do it. So he bombed Iran in the moment they were in weaknesses, which is not the best way to fight a country. You should never attack a country because it's in weakness. It's really stupid. But he did it. So that being said, thanks for watching. Like always, let me drink my last apple juice, then I can say goodbye before I eat. I'm really hungry. I haven't eaten in like days. Actually, it's just morning. Alright. Ciao ciao. Bye bye. Adios. Spasiba. And gracias. Bye bye. Thank you.